Okay, let's talk Bafana Bafana. So, in the latest turn of events, Hugo Bruce has decided that calling up Mduduzi for the national team is the best replacement for Tau, who's not going to be able to play in this time for Bafana Bafana because of alleged personal reasons, even though he played for Ahly just a few days ago, but asikho lapho. This is really shocking because if you remember correctly, the last time Hugo Bruce was quizzed about Kaizer Chiefs, this is what he had to say.
With Kaizer Chiefs, it's 8 points, I think. This is too much. Huh? Only 5 games and you're already 8 points behind who is first. And it's not a little team who is first. Huh? So, yes, Chiefs has to improve. And when I see the games, I was was Sunday or Saturday, I was on the game of Chiefs. I'm very sorry, but now for the moment there is no player who deserves to be a Bafana player.
And that was literally 1 month ago. Now, let me remind you, this is a Kaizer Chiefs team that is still sitting 13 points behind Mamelodi Sundowns at this current point, with Sundowns having a game in hand. And Mdu hasn't been a player that's been starting and playing for Kaizer Chiefs. So his inclusion is very surprising because, again, this is an older Mduduzi who is now 28. Hugo Bruce has spoken about how he wants him to take over the role and he's looking towards the future. But if he's coming from a team that's lagging behind everybody else and also not playing at that said team, why would Coach Hugo still include him in this team? And this is where the words that Coach Hugo says always get in the way of his coaching. This is why I believe you shouldn't say too much about why you're selecting players, why you're doing X, Y, and Z, because you're only inviting more questions. I mean, after he said the Kaizer Chiefs thing, all of a sudden he brought in Pule Modi into the side, and then last time round we saw Msimango being announced in the bigger squad. So the question now becomes, is he doing it just to please Kaizer Chiefs fans and get them off his back? Should players question whether they're getting into this team because of their own talent? And also, if Kaizer Chiefs players never figured into his plans for the national team, then maybe you should question what his alternatives are for each position. Because if you have to go all the way down to Mduduzi who's not playing, then how deeply have you looked into South Africa to see who could be the future players? I mean, if we're talking about Mduduzi, will he be ready at 28 years old to play in the 2030 World Cup should we qualify? Will we be looking at the same situation as we're looking at with Themba Zwane? A Themba Zwane, by the way, that plays almost every game for Mamelodi Sundowns when available. Surely this is the time to blood some new players in. Think about your Maswanganyes, think about your Mfukengs, who maybe could come into this Bafana squad and actually be developed for the future to play these key roles in the national team. A positive we can take from what Coach Hugo has been saying is that now he's learning the value of public relations. Long being criticized about him not knowing how to speak to the media, this is what he had to say now about the players that he'd chosen for this team.
I just choose players not because they are in Sundowns, not because they are in Chiefs, or I don't choose them because they are in those teams or other teams. I just choose players because I need them and because I think they are the best in that moment on that position. That's all.
It doesn't benefit anybody to make it tribal, and I hope that Hugo Bruce is learning, as some things are better not said out in the media, especially if you haven't spoken to any of the coaches or players involved, just so that your statements can't come back and bite you, as they did in the cases where he mentioned Sundowns, where he mentioned Mailula, where he mentioned Kaizer Chiefs. Maybe now he's learning that, look, I can choose whoever I want to choose for whatever reasons I want to choose them, but don't tell the media. Anyway, good luck to Chiefs' number 3, Mduduzi. I hope that his stint with the national team can do for him what the stint at Bafana did for Lepasa over at Orlando Pirates.